Eric, we're on scene of a breaking shooting where 2 police officers have been shot and killed this morning. Right now, we're on the east side of Morrill Hay, just north of Hickman, and behind me, that is where the second police officer was shot at Morrill Hay Road and Sheridan Avenue. There does appear to be a police car with possibly 3 bullet holes in the side door. The vehicle does say Sergeant on the side. This is what we know. Just after 1 a.m., officers responded to investigate reports of shots fired in the area of 70th and Aurora. The first officers to arrive found an Urbandale police officer who had been shot. Des Moines police officers responded to assist. Just before 1:30 a.m., a Des Moines police officer was found shot at the intersection of Morrill Hay and Sheridan, where we're currently on scene. Both officers have died. The shootings appear to be an ambush-style attack.
We're following breaking news right now. 2 officers have been shot and killed overnight.
We're anticipating a news conference in just the next minute or two. Actually, let's go right to it right now.
Yeah, this is shortly after 1 o'clock. The law enforcement community here in the Metro Des Moines area lost 2 officers. It started about 1:05 in the morning in Urbandale. Officers responded to reports of shots being fired in that area. The first officers to arrive on the scene found a police officer, an Urbandale police officer, still seated in his vehicle, and he'd been shot and killed. About 20 minutes after that, officers were in the area attempting to help the Urbandale officers figure out what had happened, see if we could identify a suspect. One of our Des Moines officers found a Des Moines police officer seated in his vehicle at an intersection. He'd also been shot. He was transported to Methodist Hospital, where he died shortly after that. In all appearances, it looks just like that these officers were ambushed. On the surface right now, just like I said, we're just a few hours into this. It doesn't look like there was any interaction between these officers and whoever the coward is that shot them while they sat in their cars. That's the best we got that we can explain the scene right now.
And we've just really received new information about a suspect in these cases.
This is what we've been waiting for all morning. This is from the Des Moines Police Department. 46-year-old Urbandale resident Scott Michael Green is being sought by investigators this morning. Green is 5'11", 180 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. That's a picture of the suspect that Urbandale and Des Moines Police have just sent us within the last couple of minutes. This coming from Sergeant Paul Parizek of the Des Moines Police Department and Sergeant Chad Underwood of the Urbandale Police Department. Essentially, think of it as an all-points bulletin across central Iowa. Police officers have been doubled up for hours now as they go door to door with their weapons drawn at times, trying to figure out exactly what's going on here.
And you are looking live right now at the 2 scenes. The first scene on the right side of your screen, 70th and Aurora. This is right near Urbandale High School. This was the scene of the first shooting just after 1 o'clock this morning. An officer shot and killed inside their vehicle there. The word went out. Des Moines Police responded to try to help Urbandale in this investigation. As they're responding, 20 minutes later, they discover one of their own. The second scene you see there, Morrill Hay and Sheridan, was shot and killed, shot inside their vehicle, transported to the hospital, and passed away at the hospital. This is the man that they say is responsible.
We've all experienced it. We've checked social media. We've watched TV. We've seen the scenes out there, but we're all feeling so helpless, and everybody's wondering what we can do. We caught this moment within the last hour out in Urbandale at the scene. Just watch what happened.
I can't even imagine. This is the only thing I know how to help is to feed. And I want you guys to be hydrated and not be hungry. And I want you to go home to your families, because I want my dad to come home to me, and I want my friends to come home to me. And I'm sorry, and I'm here for you all. I don't know how else to help or what else to do.
Your prayers are all we need.
Thank you, and I will be praying. Please go home to your family.
People don't know what to say. They don't know what to do.
Just an example of how shaken people are and how meaningful that small gesture can be. We've received word in the last half an hour that a suspect has now been arrested in this case.
This is a rural area here about 2 miles south of Redfield, where we are right now, a gravel road. This is actually called G Trail. Take a look. I'm looking at about a dozen or more law enforcement vehicles that are out here right now. We are hearing that a person called into Dallas County and said that they saw a person matching the suspect
Scott Michael Green's description shortly after 9 o'clock this morning.
You have 2 separate charges of murder in the first degree. Each charge carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment without possibility of parole. Your bond is set at $5 million, cash only, each charge, total of $10 million.
Green is suspected in the early morning slayings of Des Moines Police Sergeant Anthony Beminio and Urbandale Police Officer Justin Martin. The men you see in red shirts surrounding Green in the courtroom, we're told that's called a utility response team. Because Green is considered a high-risk inmate, that team will surround him anytime he is out of his cell.
Hug your children, hold them tight. You never know.
Jane and Randy Martin have spent the past 2 days dealing with grief that no parent should have to endure.
I want my son back, but that's not going to happen, so my son's going to do great things in heaven.
24-year-old Justin Martin had only been on the Urbandale police force about a year and a half when he was shot and killed while sitting in his patrol car by Scott Green.
I think the Des Moines police said it best, that's a coward. You don't face somebody if you're going to do something and make it fair, but this wasn't.
Wednesday, police arrested Green using the handcuffs that belonged to Sergeant Tony Beminio and Officer Justin Martin.
Because they were his. He carried them. Because it was a part of him. Because he had them on every day. Just anything that's, I don't know, I think it's personal.
I think it's because it indicates that both officers did finish their job because their handcuffs brought him into jail, and even though they were not there to put them on him, that symbolizes they were finishing what they started.
If God could handcraft the perfect police officer, inside and out, it would look just like Tony.
How sweet the sound.
When you ran into Tony, you talked about family. He was a proud husband, a proud father.
I once was lost.
If you ran into Tony more than once during the day, you probably got to hear the same stories again. He was just that proud.
I see.
Everything Tony did, he did from the heart. Think of what a different world it would be if everybody took that same approach.
Well, I absolutely hate that we have to be here today. This isn't right and it isn't fair.
My fears are relieved.
This is the kind of place where these kinds of things didn't happen before, and I pray and I hope with everything I've got that they never happen again.
I never experienced something like this before in my life.
Tree limbs down, meters torn from the side of houses, and complete roofs taken off homes. Storms ripped through central Iowa late Saturday night, leaving a trail of damage in communities like Eagle Grove. Homeowner after homeowner tells KCCI they've never seen anything quite like it.
There's branches everywhere. Biggest storm I've ever seen in my 17 years.
Oh, we've had high winds and whatnot, and you'll lose trees or lose limbs here and there. It's probably one of the worst ones we've had in Eagle Grove for quite some time, since I've been around, since a kid.
Trees are split in half and many toppled to the ground. And now people who live here in Eagle Grove are dealing with the aftermath. Residents say around 3 in the morning, the wind picked up, trees snapped, and lights flickered. A family says they went down to the basement fearing it was a tornado, and as soon as they were able to step outside, reality hit. Damage everywhere.
Well, I wasn't sure whether we had a tornado or it was flatline winds. I couldn't believe the amount of damage that we got in a short period of time.
I think it is absolutely amazing.
The artistry and the talent that goes into that is just unbelievable.
I'm Gary Keenan, I'm a chainsaw sculptor. I virtually stumbled into chainsaw carving 15 years ago. I've always appreciated art. It's a 10-foot pin oak. They lost it in a storm.
Storm came through, took a branch down.
That's right, the whole top of the tree was across the neighbor's yard.
We gave Gary some of our ideas. We had seen his work and we wanted something that was organic.
It's going to have, of course, the 2 owls on top, a cardinal. There's going to be a raccoon below, a ground squirrel, On the lower right, I have to work with the piece of wood. I have to make the subject fit this particular trunk, so everyone is different. When I start, I might do a basic outline with something like spray paint or a large crayon, so I know that's going to be a flower. Well, I got a very basic start Saturday afternoon. So it's going to take a total of about 5 days. Many people are honking and waving as they drive by.
And when I drove by, I was just so amazed, I just had to stop and take a couple of pictures.
They often give me a thumbs up, so it makes it more fun.
I love it too. Good for him. What a talent that is. Chainsaw Mania.
Time is running out for Donald Trump and his first real test as a presidential candidate, the Iowa caucuses. So what better way to get the message out than to invite reporters on his private jet for some Q&A? Hot topic, his refusal to debate on Fox News here in Des Moines.
I was not treated properly by Fox. I was treated very badly by Fox. And rather than having somebody, I think this is so important because it relates to the country, the way we're pushed around all the time. Rather than have somebody that just accepts it, walks onto the stage and debates, which, you know, for me hasn't been very difficult, I said, you can't treat people like that. You just can't do it.
Well, you've heard the criticism that this is your one last chance for a nationwide audience and for Iowans to see you with your competitors, and that's not going to happen now. Is that presidential when you don't do that?
I think so, because Chuck Loudner and some of the folks that work for me, Sam, you know, Sam Clovis, and a lot of them, they said, this showed that you're independent, it showed that you're tougher, it showed that you'll protect yourself and you'll protect your country when something is unjust. Whereas these other guys, they're politicians, they just show up and they debate for an hour and they leave.
Just a few days left until the caucuses. You going to win?
Well, I hope so. I really do. I've really developed a bond with the people from Iowa. They're amazing people in Iowa, so I look forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
You're so nice to do this.
Only in Iowa could we invite the girls over to meet the woman who's trying to be the first female president.
This is a little evil eye, so to protect you against any spirits.
I love that. Thank you. We'll make good use of that. Good. No, seriously, I really.
And Hillary Clinton made good use of her time here at the Wanamaker's home in Waukee to make quick friends.
There we are. Okay.
And a focus on issues Iowans are interested in: national security, terrorism, working with Congress, and what all busy women want to know.
And the question is very simple. What keeps you going?
It's not easy. It's exhausting. It's very challenging. My friends say that, you know, I have this responsibility gene, which sometimes gets in my way because I feel such a responsibility toward things and people. But that's who I am. I mean, vitamins, exercise, yoga, you know, all of that helps too.
These moms were most interested in Clinton's plans to improve education, which she is passionate about.
We have to start at the beginning. The first 5 years of life are so critical as to whether or not children will succeed when they get to formal schooling.
Take a look at this hallway. We're live here, and take a look at exactly what is happening. This is registration process going on in the hallway of Merrill Middle School, one of 1,681 caucus sites across the state of Iowa. Come in a little bit closer and take a look. Take a look at these are folks registering, signing up for the caucuses. It's alphabetically set up right here. 6 different tables, as you are looking at right now, alphabetically of people just in this precinct. This precinct specifically is mostly the Waterbury neighborhood as well as the south of Grand neighborhood. And then far at the end of the hallway, around the corner, there is another table set up for new registrations. Then, beyond that, way at the far end of the hallway, there are 2 Republican caucuses going on here.
Kim St. Onge is live with the Republican caucus tonight at the Ankeny Baptist Church. Kim?
Take a look. It is standing room only. Let me tell you, this room is packed. So there are about 350 chairs for the people here at Ankeny Baptist Church, but obviously there are dozens and dozens of people who are now standing on the perimeter of this sanctuary. And there's also, if you can swing around here, there's also people who are on the stage. They've been seating people there because they've simply run out of room. There are dozens and dozens of people who are lining the walls of this church here in this sanctuary. They tell me they've had an incredible voter turnout, including new voters. That is huge here.
We finished second.
And I want to tell you something. I'm just honored. I'm really honored. And I want to congratulate Ted, and I want to congratulate all of the incredible candidates, including Mike Huckabee, who's become a really good friend of mine. So congratulations to everybody. Congratulations.
What a great campaign. This has been an incredible honor to campaign across Iowa with so many of you to make the case for the kind of future we want for the Democratic Party and for the United States of America.
The 108-year drought has finally ended. The Chicago Cubs, 2016 World Series champions. It's time to party in Wrigleyville. How big is this for the Cubs?
Huge! We're partying like it's 1908!
How much fun is it to be a Cubs fan right now?
I can't explain how it feels. It's amazing. Been waiting for it 20 years. Go Cubs!
You guys are both from Iowa. How exciting is it to be a Cubs fan?
It's so great to be down here tonight.
I know. The Cubs!
What does it mean? I mean, the 108 years, the drought. What does it mean for this community to be able to bring to this championship home?
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's
As you can see, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's good.
I think that might be all I can get from you.
Put the seats up! They broke my heart then! They broke my heart in 1984! They broke my heart in 2003! They did it finally! I am happy! My life is fulfilled!
Just feet from where he died, football memorabilia, pictures, and awards now sit in a spare room of Tyler's house. In the months that followed, his family began to search for answers as to what else led to their son's death.
Tyler Sash's family decided to send his brain here to the VA Brain Bank in Bedford, Massachusetts, where Dr. Ann McKee is leading the charge in diagnosing and studying CTE.
It is a neurodegenerative disease, CTE. So it's a disease that is caused by trauma.
Dr. McKee, a neuropathologist who also teaches at Boston University, has examined the brains of nearly 300 football players. She's diagnosed around 200 with CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and she says Tyler Sash was one of the worst cases given his young age. Microscopic slides of his brain tell the story.
You can immediately see these dark brown areas. You should not be able to see that at all. And the fact that you can see it with the naked eye without even a microscope is because the lesion is so dense.
Sash's largest lesion was on his frontal lobe, the part of the brain that controls cognitive functions like emotion, memory, and judgment.
You look at the lesion and you just wonder what was that like for him? How, to live with that in his brain. What was that like?
Sash's family had no idea it was that bad.
Even though we sent his brain in, we really didn't expect that.
CTE is caused by repeated trauma to the brain over a period of time. A buildup of abnormal protein eats away at the brain cells and can eventually cause Alzheimer's-like symptoms.
When you see this, and you see this in a 27-year-old, you say to yourself, we've got to do something about this. This can't be happening to our athletes.